divine chastisement of God.
It's not a game, not even a war. Beyond rain, beyond storm, beyond Katrina. You ain't never seen a natural disaster with a meaner demeanor.
No one can make an intelligent decision without being properly informed. This is why this world wants to control the media. This is why media hype can take you up, take you down. So you don't know anymore who's really good, because the media can make a wicked man look good and make a good man look evil. That is why. I'm like Saddam, keeping my eye on Clinton, watching each movie make, cause every slither he takes sort of reminds.
Peace. Abarigani. Hotep. Assalamu alaikum. You are watching a very special Father's Day edition of the Final Call News Hour. I am your illustrious host, Brother Herman Muhammad. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Happy Mother's Day to all of the beautiful mothers out there. For if it were not for our wives, for our women, we could not call ourselves fathers. So let's keep it 100. Again, you're watching a very special edition of the Final Call News Hour, a Father's Day edition. And what I wanted to do, family, is I wanted to come in and just talk about my spiritual father, who is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in an article that was written a few weeks ago in the Final Call newspaper. This edition of the Final Call newspaper right here. Let me show it to you. The truth about Farrakhan. The truth about Farrakhan. Why we celebrate his life, his commitment, why we love him, and why we will not allow false propaganda and lies to go unchecked. Right? This is a wonderful edition of the Final Call newspaper, and you can pick that up. If you didn't get it, you can go to finalcalldigital.com, and you could download really any edition of the Final Call that you've missed, or even that you haven't missed. You can get it, and it comes directly to your computer, directly to your tablet, directly to your phone, by whatever means that you access digital or electronic information. You can get the Final Call newspaper, and I would encourage each and every one of you to do that. If you are just coming into the room and you're watching this via Facebook, like, love, dislike, I don't care, share. If you're coming and watching this via YouTube, again, thumbs up, thumbs down, share, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the notification button so you get notifications on when we do shows. This show, you know, I'm so honored to talk about the truth about Farrakhan, especially in this hour, because this is a very critical hour in which we find ourselves living. If you're watching on YouTube, you know, a lot of things have been happening. There's a lot of censorship going on. I try to post at least once a week, but what has been happening on YouTube is they're taking videos down. They are taking videos down, especially of those of us who follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and who advocate for the truth that he speaks. They're taking our videos down as soon as we put them up, saying that we're violating some terms of service. The last video that I did, I talked about the VAERS website, which is a government website, which stands for the Vaccine Adverse Effects Reporting System, that anyone can report the effects of the vaccine if they have any. And I didn't report anything except for that which was on the website itself, which I said, again, is a government website. And YouTube promptly took the video down, saying that I was violating their terms of service, their community guidelines, by giving medical misinformation. But I say all that to say that there is a war going on. There is a war going on between truth and falsehood, between God and the devil, between those who would see you free and those who would enslave you. And you've got to understand that. And there are some very deceptive practices that are taking place via media. And know and understand that social media is in fact media. And we say it in our intro that you can't make a proper decision until you are properly informed, which is why we do this broadcast. But we have to find different ways to get you the information via the final call, whether it be getting the straight up newspaper or getting the digital edition, because they're not allowing us to propagate the truth, this invincible truth that we got from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad on their platforms. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been basically removed from all of these social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. All of his channels have been removed, and they are doing their best to remove any of those who desire to help him. They've removed Brother Riza's Islam's channel. They've shut down and removed Brother Ben X for a while. They've removed a number of my videos from YouTube because there's a war going on. So the truth about Farrakhan, get back to this. The truth about Farrakhan, which is the edition that we're coming out of. And I just want to talk about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on this Father's Day, and wish all of my brothers again a happy Father's Day. But this article appears on page 2, and it's written by our brother Demetric Muhammad, who is a student minister who is out of Memphis, and who also is a member of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's research team. But he starts out, and he can be reached on Twitter at Brother Demetric, and the article is entitled "The Criterion Standard of Love and Leadership: Reflections on the Significance of Minister Farrakhan's 88th Birth Anniversary." And for those of us who do not know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's born day or birthday is on May the 11th. But Brother Demetric starts out, "Blessed is he who sent down the criterion upon his servant, that he may be to the worlds a warner." And that's Holy Quran chapter or Surah 25, which is entitled Al-Furqan. On May 11th, 1526, the Spanish monarchy issued forth a formal decree forbidding the importing of Muslims into the Western Hemisphere, according to esteemed scholar Sylvain Diouf. After the first slave uprising in the New World led by Wolof in 1522, a royal decree of May 11th, 1526 specifically forbade the introduction of Gulofs or Wolof, Negroes, blacks from the Levant or Middle East, those who had been raised with the Moors, and people from Guinea without a special license from Casa de Contracción, which regulated the slave trade and put levies on the slaves. All the groups that the decree prohibited were either completely or mostly Muslim. Within 50 years, 5 decrees were passed to forbid the introduction of African Muslims to Spanish colonies. The insistent reissuing of the prohibition shows that Muslims nevertheless continue to arrive and to cause concerns and problems in the New World. The colonists claim that the Muslims incited the other nations to rebellion, and it was feared that they would take Islam to the Indians. Now, this is very important. All that history is extremely important. He continues, it was 407 years later, on May 11th, 1933, that a baby boy was born in New York City to parents Sarah Mae Manning and Percival Clark. The baby boy, named Louis Eugene Walcott, would grow to become known all over the world as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. On May 11, 2021, we celebrate and reflect upon the magnificent life and work of Minister Farrakhan. This is the 88th anniversary of his birth, and it is important to look at the life of Minister Farrakhan through the lens of history. It is even more important to look at Minister Farrakhan's life through the lens of prophecy. In truth, it is within the life of Minister Farrakhan wherein we have observed an extraordinary and profound intersection of history, prophecy, and current events. Bam! Marinate on that. But this brings us to where we are today, Father's Day 2021, Juneteenth, where I'm going down and hang out with the people very shortly, inshallah, because it is Juneteenth. And for those of us who do not know, your benevolent president, President Joe Biden, signed into law that Juneteenth is now a national holiday, recognizing what we've been doing for years. Ever since I've been in the city of Denver, we've always celebrated Juneteenth. But now all of a sudden we need a Caucasian to say it's law. And now we celebrate and now we happy. Well, again, we've been doing this for years, as long as I can remember. And, man, I'm 50 years old by Allah's grace. And I grew up in Denver. As long as I can remember, we've always gone down to the 5 Points on June 19th, during Juneteenth, and celebrated Juneteenth. But it is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan who makes me to know that what Joe Biden and the Congress are doing in the way of accepting Juneteenth as a so-called national holiday is nothing more than a trickeration, another trick. What would really move me and will move us and will move those who are awake is if you would offer something, Mr. Biden and the Congress, according to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that you would offer us something in the way of reparation. And we don't just mean no money either, because your money ain't worth the paper that it's printed on. But what would move us would be if you would offer us something that the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked for in every issue of Muhammad Speaks and in every issue of the Final Call newspaper, which this news hour is based upon, and that is land and support for the next 20 to 25 years until we're strong enough to be on our own. That's real. That's what we need. Give us a fake holiday. Anyway, I digress. It brings us to this final call again. The current edition, the truth about Farrakhan, while we celebrate his life. Because it is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan who Right now, just like the Spaniards feared Islam coming during 1526, and they issued a formal decree forbidding the importing of Muslims into the Western Hemisphere, the reason why they are banning my videos and banning videos from Brother Ben and banning Brother Riza Islam and banning others who are giving nothing but truth is because they fear that the whole world will join on to what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been teaching for the last more than 65 years. They fear. They fear what is coming out of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's mouth. They fear. And Brother Dimitri talks about it in this article. The rise of a black messiah who would electrify the masses and unite more nationalistic and radical arms of the black liberation movement. Take it or let it alone. I'm doing this show, man, because look, man, you got to know who Farrakhan is. Brother Dimitri writes, again, I want to reiterate this. It is even more important to look at Minister Farrakhan's life through the lens of prophecy. In truth, it is within the life of Minister Farrakhan wherein we have observed an extraordinary and profound intersection of history, prophecy, and current events. J. Edgar Hoover, during the COINTELPRO, or the counterintelligence program that they launched against black organizations, including the Nation of Islam, wanted to, again, stop the rise of a black messiah from electrifying the masses, from uniting more nationalistic and radical arms of the black liberation movement from coming together. So, Brother Dimitri continues on page 31 of this issue. Infamous FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover wrote that he was working to prevent the rise of a messiah among black people. For a leading law enforcement official to invoke religious terminology within his descriptions of his counterintelligence program is strange. It is significant because messianic leadership brings together in the leader who possesses it the most desired attributes of both secular and sacred models of leadership. Minister Farrakhan's life and leadership exemplifies this more than any other public figure. In fact, famous attorney William Kunstler said that in the modern context, Minister Farrakhan is the messianic black man that J. Edgar Hoover feared. He noted, quote, during his tenure and prior to the murder of Malcolm X, Director Hoover often spoke of the need for preventing the rise in this country of what he called a black messiah. Today, Minister Farrakhan, in my opinion, would be so considered, placing him in great jeopardy, end quote. However, far too often, examinations and analysis of Minister Farrakhan's unique and phenomenal life fail to account for his sacred qualities, and I would argue that these hidden aspects of Minister Farrakhan's character need to be the leading considerations when his life, work, and significance to black people are weighed and measured. So, I close this article with more candid yet profound testimonies from respected figures within Black America. Their testimonies help sum up the spiritual and sacred side of Minister Farrakhan's messianic role and leadership of his people. Now, I got to say this, and I got to stop. And I just got to bear witness to the messianic role of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, not only from a historical and a scriptural point of view, but from also a personal, anecdotal point of view. I honor this beautiful black man on this Father's Day. On this Father's Day, all praise is due to Allah, because even though I don't have the opportunity to be around him and to personally get counsel from him personally, he has personally, through what he has taught us, been a spiritual father to me. In fact, my father, and this is a very personal story, passed away in 1986 from a dreadful disease called ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. And my father was diagnosed with this disease 3 years before he passed from it. At the time he was diagnosed, he was 48 years old. He passed when he was 51. The disease is a very debilitating disease that causes you to lose all function in your muscles. Really horrible disease that causes you, actually, man, to suffocate and die at the very end. You just can't even make breath. So during this process, we took care of my dad, and a lot of times he would be, he was bedridden. He was at home for the last year and a half, 2 years of his life, and at least a year and a half, to be accurate. But he would watch, of course, television. He would watch the news. Significantly, what was happening at that time was then Reverend Jesse Jackson was campaigning to be the first African American or black president of these United States of America. And so he was campaigning. And of course, there was a controversy that arose up in 1984. And where Jesse made a comment where he called New York City Hymietown. And subsequent to that, he had very powerful enemies, Jewish enemies, come against him. Immediately, because he's a defender of black people, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan came to the defense of Jesse Jackson. And the controversy with the Jews began, and it continues to this very day. Now, I say all of that to say this. One day, I came in, and my dad was, again, in bed. And he had just asked me a question. And at this time, I want to say I was 13, maybe 14 years old. And my father asked me, he said, son, have you ever listened to Minister Farrakhan? And I'm 13 years old. I'm doing what I do. I'm in middle school, playing basketball, doing whatever we do. And I'm like, no. And he said, well, if you ever get a chance, you should listen to him. So in 1985, somewhere around there, 84, somewhere circa that time, my dad asked me, a 13-year-old boy, had I ever listened to Minister Farrakhan. Now, again, I said it before that he passed in 1986, when I was 15 years old then. And it wasn't until I was 18 years old when I heard that voice or that name again. And it was a friend of mine. This is Father's Day. That's why I'm sharing this testimony. It was a friend of mine who asked me if I had ever heard of Minister Farrakhan. We were just shooting the stuff out on the corner, man. And he asked me, had I ever heard of Minister Farrakhan, because he had a tape of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And of course, when he said that name, man, it clicked in my mind, because that was such a unique name that I remembered my dad asking me had I ever listened to Farrakhan. And I remembered him saying that if you ever get a chance, you should listen to Minister Farrakhan. And so my friend had that tape, and I borrowed that tape. And I don't think I ever got that tape back. But from that moment, I was a follower of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. From that moment, when I began to listen to his guidance, when I began to hear his voice, he guided me, especially once I found the mosque, which there was one in Denver and there still is one here today. And I happen to represent the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan now here in the city of Denver. But when I found that space, man, I knew that it was where I needed to be for the rest of my life. And so again, that's just a personal testimony, man. So I thank Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on this Father's Day. I thank Allah for my dad, Herman. May Allah be pleased with him, for pointing me into the direction of a father when he knew that he no longer was going to be here to be my father. I thank Allah for both of these beautiful black men. And I'm really thankful to Allah that the spiritual father that I have, who is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is the messianic figure that we read about in the scripture. That's the truth about Farrakhan. That's the truth about Farrakhan. He is the Jesus who is walking off the pages of your scriptures. He is the Muhammad of the Holy Quran. One of them. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the Muhammad of your Quran. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, sitting in his seat, walking in his footsteps, is fulfilling his part. All praise belongs to Allah. You could take it or let it alone. I don't care. But we're here today. We're bearing witness to the greatness of these two men. We're bearing witness to the fact that for the fatherless brothers and sisters in America who never knew their father, that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been that father. He is that father. That's the truth about Farrakhan. That is the truth about Farrakhan. That is the truth that they don't want you to hear, YouTube. They don't want you to know. And this man has given us so much, man. He has given us so much. He has given us so much. And they don't want you to benefit from the knowledge that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is bestowing upon all of us. There's another issue of the Final Call, a show that they did allow to go up. And it was referring to this issue of the paper, the battle in the sky is near. And it talks about this great mother of planes. Right? This great mother of planes. And I have to say this. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been ridiculed. He has been laughed at. He has been mocked. He has been scorned. Because he talks about this great will in the sky. He talks about these so-called UFOs, or these, now what the military is calling, unidentified aerial phenomenon, in great detail. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad before him, talked about these wills as well. But I just want to read something from the last edition of the Final Call with regards to that was written by our brother Nabah Muhammad, who's the editor of this great newspaper. And this article was entitled, "Don't Be Misled. Truth is being revealed." Truth is being revealed. Don't be misled. And this is with regard to these wills. And then I want to show you a video from our brother who is also a member of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's research team. He's a ufologist. He is a student minister, again, out of Memphis. They got some powerful brothers in Memphis. But his name is Ilya Rashad Muhammad, who also has a YouTube channel. And I would suggest that you subscribe to Brother Rashad's YouTube channel as well. He's another one who they only let certain videos come out on. But in any event, subscribe to that channel. But I just want to read the beginning of Brother Nabah's editorial, and then we'll go into the video, and then I'm out. All right? So, again, the article is entitled, "Truth is Being Revealed. Don't Be Misled." News coverage and analysis of a yet-to-be-released official federal report on what has been referred to as UFOs has exploded. This summertime blockbuster isn't a movie, and it isn't even out yet, but we should all be paying attention. Some most important aspects of this controversy have already been admitted, even as we await the report's findings. These forced admissions of the reality of UFOs, or unidentified aerial phenomenon, vindicate a most vital aspect of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and the Nation of Islam. Watch, look, listen, think, and read carefully, and not just what the enemy reports back. Read what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been saying since the 1930s, and what the minister has been saying intensely since an encounter on one of these crafts in 1985. For decades, the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, patriarch of the Nation of Islam, taught on the mother plane and the prophesied battle in the sky. The vision of Ezekiel's wheel in a wheel in the sky is true if carefully misunderstood, Mr. Muhammad wrote in his seminal book, Message to the Black Man. This mother plane, or wheel, is a half-mile by half-mile in size and contains 1,500 smaller wheels, each carrying 3 bombs, teaches Mr. Muhammad. There is no known equal of the mother plane. The mother plane is made for the purpose of destroying the present world. She has no equal, he wrote in one of his other books, The Fall of America. And I would encourage you to go to NOI. No, don't go to NOI. Yeah, go to that too, NOI.org. But go to finalcall.com or store.finalcall.com and get these books. A Message to the Black Man, The Fall of America. Also get Our Savior Has Arrived, and How to Eat to Live, books 1 and 2. Brother Nabah continues. She, Mr. Muhammad continued, referring to this great will, is capable of staying away from you who plan the destruction of her. She is capable of confusing you who would try to reach her with your means of destruction. Mr. Muhammad was mocked and ridiculed for teaching about the will. However, he continues to be vindicated as scientists of this world are more recently, the more U.S. government are bearing witness that these wills are real, reported this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. And so what it's talking about, family, is, of course, these incidents or sightings of wills that have been cited by Navy and Air Force pilots specifically every day. I'm going to say that again. Every day they have reported sightings since July 4th of last year, when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave his historic message from the garden entitled The Criterion. And so more and more of these wills are being cited. But the truth about Farrakhan is that he been telling us about the wills. He been telling us about the wills. That's the truth about Farrakhan. So I want you to listen to this video by our brother Rashad, and then we'll close this thing out. Again, I'll be right back. Here's our brother Ilya Rashad Muhammad out of Memphis, Tennessee.
UFOs, or unidentified aerial phenomena as they now call them, have been in the news lately as government officials have now publicly admitted that UFOs are real, that they are vastly superior than any technology of this world, and that they don't know who or what they are.
So you see this as a national security issue?
Absolutely. I don't know. I mean, how could we look at it? How could it not be when you've got vehicles that are routinely penetrating restricted military airspace, and we seem unable to engage them effectively? We have no idea where they're coming from or what their capabilities are or what their intent is.
While they're just now admitting this truth in public, they've privately known about these circular planes since the 1940s as a top concern of national security. Now keep in mind this very important fact. The Nation of Islam had been mocked and ridiculed for decades, since the 30s, for teaching that God came in person and showed Elijah Muhammad his superior wheel-shaped planes that move and fly at blinking speeds. But now that all the evidence proved that Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan are right and exact, suddenly all the critics conveniently ignore this connection, like they don't know anything. The government admitted to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that they knew about the connection between these dish-shaped objects and the Nation of Islam back when they arrested him in 1942. Even the declassified government documents show that they've been secretly monitoring this connection ever since they arrested the messenger. There's not a single leader or group to this day that have been more outspoken and accurate on telling the world about these flying wheel-shaped planes than the Nation of Islam.
I represent the Most High God who sits in that wheel that Ezekiel saw, a wheel in the middle of a wheel.
And there's still no group to bring the explicit facts about these flying objects other than the Nation. So why don't you hear government officials or the media bring up how the Honorable Elijah Muhammad first presented the hard evidence about these crafts to the world? Why does the media ignore the frequent warnings of Muhammad's national representative, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who, by the way, is the only world leader who even proclaims to have direct knowledge about these planes?
But I got something that they can't defeat.
First,
The same planes that violate your airspace and shut down America's nuclear weapon sites. It's because there are protocols from the highest echelons of government intelligence to keep this truth above top secret and away from public knowledge.
These objects know in great detail how our missiles operate.
They know ours, but we don't know theirs.
That's right, and they can shut down our missiles at any time. They have proven that. They know in great detail how they operate, and so if you release that information to the public, what do you say then about what kind of defense do we have against these things?
So even with the Pentagon's recent admissions and the Senate hearings taking place, they'll only admit that these planes exist, not the facts about who and what and why these planes exist.
said, you are looking for the Mahdi, but the Mahdi came to us. And I am here representing him. Did you hear what I said? He pointed out an object in the sky, a half a mile by a half a mile, the greatest mechanical object ever made, having 1,500 little wheels or bombing planes.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is on record for disclosing the most accurate first-hand truth about this UFO phenomena before there was a UFO phenomena. And Minister Farrakhan is the clear representative of that divine power. And those at the highest levels of government and military intelligence know it.
That's why they took me down off of Facebook and Instagram. I haven't done anything but tell the truth.
It is criminal negligence for those government officials who know to keep hiding this truth from the people and to continue censoring and demonizing the representatives of this divine power who've been telling the absolute truth about this phenomena. What's really disturbing is how the prophecies vividly describe how the people would reject the signs and evidence God sends through his divine servants. So will we ignore the plain truth and the divine warning just because we don't like the messenger delivering the truth?
I represent the most high God who sits in that wheel that Ezekiel saw, a wheel in the middle of a wheel. And I visited that wheel.
Oh, I hope you stay connected with us as we show and prove how the research verifies the revelation.
All right, then you saw that. Go to nationbrothers.com, man, if you want to learn more about these wheels and the mother of wheels. Look, man, that's the truth about Farrakhan. What you just saw in that video, that's the truth about Farrakhan. That's why they fear what's coming out of his mouth. They fear those who are advocating and repeating that which comes out of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's mouth. Because I don't have no teachings. All I could do is say what he said. But they fear that because that's going to awaken the masses of the people, especially when you know that this phenomenon, these wheels, are on your side, black man and black woman. Trust and believe. Study. Come and study with the Nation of Islam. And I encourage you, fam, and we're going to get out of here. If you want to learn more about the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and you're here in the city of Denver, visit noidenver.org. Fill out a contact form and we'll get back with you. Also, go to, if you want to hear the teachings every week, go to noi.org, where the student national assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Brother Ishmael Muhammad, does a wonderful job in delivering the truth. So just go to those sites and get more information, please. In the meantime, fam. In the meantime, in between time, support our efforts in Denver by helping us, again, by going to NOI.org or NOIdenver.org and supporting our efforts. We're doing a building fund here in the great city of Denver. So you can either click on donate button right at the top of the page, or go down, scroll down, and there's a building. There's a picture of a building rendering, and click there and donate directly to our building fund to help us raise funds for that particular endeavor. We want to build a mosque and a school. Or you can go to store and purchase some of our merch. And here's a little commercial for that. So yeah, so all of that, all of the proceeds for the merchandise is going to go directly to our building fund. So please log on and support. Also, come to, if you want to get your hair cut, come to Supreme Style Barbershop. That's the best barbershop in the land, 7520 East Colfax Avenue. Go to astar2.com and click book online, and you can book an appointment. Also, go to our blog. Those videos that YouTube is snatching off, we're putting those videos in that blog so that you can get access to that information that is vitally important. Also, we have some merch at Supreme Style. If you go to our Supreme Style store, just click astar2.com/shop, and here's a little bit of what you're gonna see. All praises due to Allah, family. So thank you all, man, for tuning in to this special edition of the Final Call News Hour. Again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, because had it not been for you mothers, we wouldn't be fathers. So we thank Allah for you listening. Remember, man, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Peace. We out of here. We love y'all. We'll see you on the next one.